The elevator doors opened on the 43rd floor and Layla Osei walked out like she owned exactly 0% of it. She was wearing a beat-up oversized vintage band tee tucked halfway into high-waisted black cargo pants, chunky white platform sneakers that had seen better days, and a thin gold chain that sat crooked on her collarbone. Her locks were pulled into a half-up style held together by a pencil she forgot was there. She carried a battered tablet under one arm and a crumpled legal notice in her other hand, the ink already smearing from the rain outside. She worked for a small tenant advocacy nonprofit. Barely above minimum wage. Her rent was 3 weeks late and she had stopped checking her bank notifications the way some people stop checking their horoscope, not because they stopped believing, but because they could not handle what it would say. The hallway was all marble and low lighting. The kind of quiet that money buys. She checked the apartment number on her phone. 4302, she knocked. The door opened. The man standing there was not what she expected at all. He was tall, maybe 6'2", wearing a fitted black turtleneck and charcoal suit trousers with no jacket, the sleeves pushed up to his forearms. His watch was thin, silver, the kind that did not need to flex because it already knew. His jaw was sharp. His eyes were darker than the hallway behind him, the kind of tired that came not from sleep deprivation but from carrying something heavy for too long. The room behind him was floor-to-ceiling windows, Dubai's skyline blazing like a circuit board at midnight. He looked at her the way someone looks at a notification they did not expect. "You are not the building manager," he said. "And you are not apartment 4302, Layla said, glancing at the gold numbers on the door. "This is 4320. A beat." She looked down. The legal notice had slipped from her fingers. They both crouched for it at the same time and his hand closed over hers on the paper. He flipped it slightly, not meaning to read it, but reading it anyway. His entire expression shifted. He stood up slowly. Looked at her. Not at the paper. "Who sent this to you?" he said, and his voice dropped an entire register. Layla's stomach did something weird. "Nobody sent it to me. I am delivering it." "To whom?" She checked her phone. "A Mr. Idris Voss." The silence that followed was the loudest thing in the hallway. "I am Idris Voss," he said. And something in the way he said it, like he was confessing to a crime, made Layla take one small step back. Because the notice in his hand was a court-issued document. A legal challenge to a demolition order. On a building he owned. The same building where 400 families currently lived. Including hers. He let her in. She did not know why she went. The suite smelled like cedar and something colder. She stood near the door while he set the legal notice on the glass dining table like it was fragile. The skyline behind him was doing too much. She crossed her arms. "You are tearing down Meridian Court," she said. "Not a question. I am restructuring it. 412 families, Mr. Voss. Restructure that." He looked at her then. Really looked. Like she was the first person in a long time who had not softened a sentence before handing it to him. "You live there," he said. "Apartment 1107. "Yes." He sat down on the edge of the couch and pressed 2 fingers to his temple. She noticed his knuckles were slightly bruised. She did not ask. "The demolition order was not my call," he said. "The board voted. I was outvoted 3-2. You are the CEO. I am also the smallest shareholder since my father died and left his shares to someone who hates me." He said it flat. No drama. Just fact. Layla uncrossed her arms slowly. "Your board member." "Who?" "My cousin. Dante Voss." He looked up. "He has been building the case to push me out for 8 months. This demolition is his first real move. If it goes through, the revenue clears my removal." She pulled the chair across from him and sat down. "Okay. So what is your play? He blinked. Like he had not expected her to ask that. I have 30 days to file a counter-injunction. But my legal team just quit. Dante got to them first. Layla pulled the pencil from her locks and set it on the table. I spent 3 years at a housing rights law clinic before the funding dried up. I am not a lawyer. But I know this filing better than whoever drafted it. He stared at the pencil. Then at her. Why would you help me? I am not helping you, she said. I am helping 412 families. You just happen to be the only door I can walk through to do it. He was quiet for a long moment. Outside, a plane crossed the skyline, its lights blinking slow. My name is Idris, he said finally. I know, she said. Layla. He nodded. Then he picked up the legal notice and slid it across the table toward her. She did not know yet that Dante had already seen the security footage of her walking into this suite. Did not know that by morning, her name would be flagged in 3 different corporate databases. Did not know that the person who tipped Dante off was someone she trusted completely. She picked up the document and got to work. 9 days in and they had a rhythm. She would show up at 7 with 2 coffees and a printed summary of whatever she had pulled together the night before. He would already be at the table, jacket off, first 2 buttons of his shirt undone, hair like he had been running his hands through it for hours. The suite had started to feel less like a hotel room and more like a war room. Papers everywhere. Sticky notes on the windows. Her handwriting and his mixed together on the same whiteboard like a language they had invented by accident. She was wearing a rust-colored knit crop top, wide-leg ecru trousers, and her platform sneakers again, gold hoops in her ears this time. He had stopped wearing the turtleneck. Just dress shirts now, always rolled up, always slightly undone. It meant something. She was not ready to name it. We have a problem, she said on day 9, setting her coffee down hard. He looked up. Which one? The injunction requires a co-signatory from someone with direct financial stake in the building's community impact. Without that, the filing gets dismissed before a judge even reads it. My name is on the deed. You are the one trying to stop the demolition. You cannot also be your own witness. It has to be a resident. He looked at her. She looked back. Layla. I cannot ask you to do that. You are not asking. I am telling you it is the only move. If Dante finds out your name is on that document, he will come after you. Your lease, your record, your nonprofit funding, everything. He is already coming after me, she said. He just does not know I know that yet. Idris stood up. Walked to the window. Dubai glittered below like it had no idea what was happening 43 floors up. How do you know? He said quietly. She pulled out her phone and slid it across the table. A screenshot. A message thread. Between Dante's assistant and someone named Marcus Webb. Her best friend. The one who had covered her rent twice last year. The one who knew she was here. Idris read it. Did not speak for a long moment. He told Dante you were here on the 3rd day, Layla said. Her voice did not shake. She had practiced that part. He has been feeding updates since. Idris turned around. His face was doing something complicated. Layla. Do not, she said. Do not look at me like that. I do not need the face right now. I need to know if you are still in this. He crossed the room in 4 steps and picked up the injunction draft. He signed his section without breaking eye contact with her. Your turn, he said. She took the pen. Her hand was steady. But her chest was not. The injunction worked. For 48 hours. Then Dante moved faster than either of them expected. He filed a countermotion claiming the co-signatory, Layla, had a personal conflict of interest as a resident and activist. The judge agreed to pause proceedings pending a review. Dante held a press conference the same afternoon, smooth in a navy suit and a practiced smile, framing Idris as a man using a vulnerable tenant to fight a corporate battle she did not understand. Layla watched it on her phone in the stairwell of her building, sitting on the 12th floor landing in an oversized gray zip-up hoodie, black biker shorts, and her sneakers untied. Her locks were loose. She looked like someone who had not slept. Because she had not. Idris found her there. He had walked up 12 flights. She could tell because he was slightly out of breath and too proud to say so. He sat down next to her on the step. Shoulder to shoulder. Said nothing. He is going to win, she said. He is not. Idris. He has the board, the lawyers, and now the press. What do we have? The truth. And the emails. She turned. What emails? He pulled out his phone. Handed it to her. A forwarded chain, buried and then retrieved by a digital forensics firm he had quietly hired 2 weeks ago. Board communications from 8 months prior. Dante and 3 other members coordinating the demolition before it was ever brought to a vote. Time-stamped. Authenticated. Proof that the vote was staged. Why did you not use this sooner, she said. Because I needed to know if you were real first. The stairwell was very quiet. That is not a normal thing to say, she said. I know. Idris. Everyone who has ever helped me wanted something. My money. My name. Access. He looked straight ahead. You showed up for 400 families you had never met and did not ask me for a single thing. I needed to know that was actually who you were. She handed his phone back. And now you know. And now I know. She leaned her head back against the wall. He was close enough that she could feel the warmth of his arm against hers. If we release these emails, she said, Dante will retaliate. Fast. Yes. And your board position is not guaranteed even if he loses. No. You could lose the company. I know. She looked at him. He looked at her. The fluorescent light above them buzzed once and steadied. Then why are you still here? She asked. He picked up her untied lace and tied it. Slow. Deliberate. Like the answer was in the action and he did not need to say it out loud. She felt it anyway. We release the emails tomorrow, she said softly. Tomorrow, he agreed. What neither of them knew was that Dante had already made his final move. That night, while they were planning, he had filed to have Layla's nonprofit formally dissolved. Not just her funding. The entire organization. Every case. Every family they were fighting for. Gone by morning, if the filing cleared. By 3 a.m., Layla's phone started ringing. By 6 a.m. Layla had made a decision that Idris did not know about yet. She was standing outside the building in a black puffer coat over a white-fitted long-sleeve, dark wide-leg jeans, and her beat-up sneakers, the gold chain still crooked on her collarbone. The Dubai morning was pale and dry and indifferent. She had her phone in one hand and a printed statement in the other. She had called every journalist she knew. Not to release Idris's emails. To release something else entirely. Her own statement. Naming Dante. Naming Marcus. Naming every board member in that chain. Not as a legal filing. As a public record. Her words. Her face. Her name. It would not save the nonprofit overnight. But it would make the dissolution impossible to hide. Idris found her at 6:14. He was in a dark coat over a gray shirt, no tie, and he looked like he had also not slept. You were supposed to wait for me, he said. I know. Layla. If we release your emails together, it becomes a corporate story. Rich guy fights cousin. Nobody cares about the families. She looked up at him. But if I release my statement first, it becomes a people story. And people stories are harder to bury. He stared at her for a long moment. You sacrificed the non-profit to save the building, he said. I sacrificed the non-profit to save the people I and the building. There is a difference. She held his gaze. I can rebuild an organization. Those 400 families cannot rebuild their lives if they lose their homes. He looked away. His jaw worked. When he looked back, his eyes were doing something she had only seen once before, on day 9, when he signed the injunction without looking away from her. What do you need from me? He said. Release the emails at noon. Let the 2 stories hit together. And after? She almost smiled. After, I am going to sleep for approximately 1,000 years. And after that? The question sat between them, warmer than the morning air. Ask me again when it is over, she said. He nodded. Then, very quietly, without making a thing of it, he reached out and straightened the gold chain on her collarbone with one careful finger. She let him. The emails dropped at noon. Layla's statement had already been shared 40,000 times. By evening, Dante's countermotion was withdrawn. By the following week, 3 board members had resigned. The demolition order was formally reversed. Meridian Court stood. The nonprofit took 4 months to rebuild. Layla did it from a temporary office 2 floors below Idris's boardroom, which she told him was a coincidence and which was absolutely not a coincidence. Marcus sent an apology. She read it once and put her phone face down. Idris knocked on her office door on a Thursday afternoon holding 2 coffees. You said to ask you again when it was over, he said. She looked up from her desk. Took the coffee. I did say that, she said. So. She leaned back in her chair. What exactly are you asking, Idris? He looked at her the same way he had in that hallway on the 43rd floor. Like she was a variable he had finally solved. I am asking if you will let me be in whatever you are building next, he said. Not to fund it. Not to own it. Just to be in it. The city hummed outside the window. She pushed the second chair toward him with her foot. Sit down, she said. We have work to do. He sat. He smiled. It was the first time she had seen him do that without it being complicated. It was enough. It was everything. The end.